Thanks for your patience, everybody who's here. I will call to order a meeting of the Hartford Selectboard on July 7th, 2026 at 6:02 p.m. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Someone will lead us.
I'll lead. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, thank you. Okay, tonight we have no liquor control board business. We do have business as the local cannabis control board. So I will close the select board and open as the cannabis control board to consider the application for renewal of a wholesale cannabis license for Altheus THC LLC. You're the applicant, I presume? Yeah, if you wouldn't mind just coming to this microphone and introducing yourself, your name and village of residence, and just tell us anything you'd like to share about this application.
Sure. My name is Tim Reiter. I'm the COO and co-founder of Altheus THC. We're a small wholesale distribution operation here in the state of Vermont. Located in Quechee. I reside in Pomfret. We help about 40 different small farms and manufacturers get their products to market, and we're in, as of this week, 108 of the 115 stores in Vermont. So it's a very small operation, but we're agile and we help support a lot of folks, and really proud of what we do and happy to be a part of this town.
Great, thank you so much. Are there any questions from people on the board about this renewal? Okay, seeing no questions, I'll take a motion if someone's prepared. Mary?
Okay. I move that the Select Board renew a wholesale cannabis license for Altheus THC LLC.
Okay.
Second.
And there's a second from Eric.
Second, yep.
Motion from Mary, second from Eric. John, I'm trusting you have the vote count tonight. Thank you. Any discussion? Yes.
How are you gonna get into those last 7 stores?
I'm sorry?
How are you gonna get into those last 7 stores?
That's a great question.
I'm just joking.
There's so much nuance.
Yeah. Right. Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Okay, we have 6 in favor and 1 absent. Congratulations.
Thank
Best
you.
of
Thank you.
luck continuing
Thank
another
you.
year.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course. Thank
Have
you.
a good evening.
All right.
too.
You as well.
I love your car.
Thanks.
Oh, is that the card?
All right, moving on to order of agenda. We have had some changes to the agenda which are up in the updated packet. I don't know if you want to
Yeah,
review them, John?
I can mention the
Okay.
fact that the
Thank
original agenda had 2 items that are no longer on this revised agenda. The first was setting tax rates, and second one was a possible contract award for an organizational assessment consultant, and those items have been removed from this agenda. I do also want to point out that we had J.D. Hawks planning to remotely participate in the item 5A, but he's called me from the airport and told me that he's now on an airplane and can no longer participate. He was thinking that this would be a window during which he could participate. So I suppose it's up to the board whether you want to proceed with that item absent his minimal input, or whether you want to keep it on the agenda for a discussion.
Okay, do people have thoughts on that question?
I feel like we mulled over it at least twice, and I feel really
Yeah.
comfortable that we would adopt that tonight. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, it has been on the agenda 2 previous times. Are others comfortable with that?
100%.
Okay, we will keep it on. the agenda.
Finally, I do want to mention, and we'll get to it at the consent agenda, but there's a couple of things that we'll probably want to change. First, we usually receive the final 2 consent agenda items from finance in the hours leading up to the select board meeting. This evening, we were only able to receive the 1, which came in at about 5:10 and was circulated to the select board. The second one will still need to be approved by the board, but it can happen sometime in the next few days. So we can talk about when we could possibly accommodate that. And of course, on future meetings, we may want to discuss the addition of 1 or 2 special meetings coming up. So let's put a pin in that for later.
Okay, yeah, when will we talk about scheduling of the special meetings? In the town manager report, or Eric?
Thank you. I was going to suggest a agenda change to include an agenda item to discuss 2 special meetings, the scheduling for 2 special meetings, the tax rate meeting, and a vote to appoint a new town manager. So whether we, wherever you want that in the agenda, I've just suggested we put it as a separate agenda item.
Okay, good suggestion. Why don't we put it just first in the action items before the social media policy? Are people okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna order of agenda, put an additional item to discuss first under action items prior to item A, and this will be to discuss scheduling of 2 special upcoming select board meetings. Okay. Okay, anything else for order of agenda? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to public comment. We welcome public comments. It's an opportunity for folks to give us input. We may not be able to respond in the moment, but we will if we can succinctly. John is also a great resource for people seeking guidance, clarifications, information about town operations. Any comments in the room? Does not appear that we have anyone with us to comment in person. I will look to Zoom. If you have a comment on Zoom, please raise your hand. Not seeing any hands currently on Zoom. So I will close public comment. Next, we have select board comments and announcements. Someone like to start us off with a comment or announcement that they would like to share? Anybody? Tim?
I just, I did attend for a spell the fireworks celebrations at Kilowatt, and I thought it was beautiful to see all those people enjoying being there, and obviously the support staff and so on. I thought people, the energy of the space and the coordination and all the work that went into that, so thanks to everybody out there that put that all together. It was impressive.
Awesome, thank you. Miranda, any comments?
Comments tonight.
Eric?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay. Mary?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mike?
Yeah, nothing. Thank you.
Okay. We've been working hard, so we are low on brain space, I think. But I don't have any comments tonight either, but we will be celebrating a transition soon, which is exciting. But for tonight, we're gonna express brief gratitude to John for everything that you've been doing leading up to this transition, and we'll hope to commemorate the moment a little more formally in an upcoming meeting.
Even more than my pork sandwich at Phnom Penh? It's hard
Perhaps.
to imagine, but thank you.
Perhaps, about at that level, perhaps, no. Okay. All right, so where are we? There are no appointments tonight for our wonderful committees. So we'll move on to our town manager report. So John, turning it over to you.
Thanks very much, Ida. In addition to 4th of July, we've also had other events that have taken place in these last couple of weeks. First, I'd like to congratulate all around with regard to the successful alumni parade / 250th celebration on June 27th. The after parade picnic behind Town Hall was also a great way for neighbors and friends to reconnect. The Emergency Management Coordinator and HPD, again, as has been reported, have echoed the fact that the Independence Day celebration at Kilowatt Park went smoothly and with very good attendance. I'm pleased to report that Haley Manley has begun work as the town's new HR Director / Executive Assistant to the Town Manager. We all wish her very good success and a satisfying and enjoyable tenure here in Hartford. And I'd like to also report that the town received 13 proposals by the July 1st round one deadline from agencies hoping to secure town opioid settlement funds to address the impacts of opioid abuse. The designated select board appointed committee will move forward in the weeks ahead to evaluate these proposals. Stay tuned for further information. The
John?
assessor, yes.
Sorry, may I pause just there, just to jump in on that last topic? Sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
And I could have said this in my comment, but I forgot. But, so yeah, very, very exciting, very great news that we received so much enthusiasm and interest in this opioid settlement fund grant. We really, going into this, we really did not know if we would, there would be organizations and departments in the community that would have ideas for these funds. So to see that we had this number of applications is really exciting, and I look forward to being part of the committee that's going to review those proposals. I will say 3 of the proposals we communicated to the folks, but they didn't quite adhere to the page limit guidelines, and to be completely fair, we need to make sure that all proposals are adhering to the same guidelines in terms of the space limitations. So if you're in that situation, we highly encourage you to refine your proposal and submit it in our next round, which will be due February 1st, and I'm sorry if that is disappointing. But we will still have a highly competitive process with 10 proposals that we'll review as a committee. And if you're on the committee, we'll be in touch very soon about the process for reviewing these proposals and how to, and we have a scoring rubric. We're gonna have a structured process for reviewing them in a way that's as fair as possible. And I look forward to meeting with those folks and learning about the really wonderful ideas that people have put forward in terms of addressing a super important issue related to substance treatment and prevention in Hartford. So, okay, I'll leave it at that. Back to you.
Thank you very much. The assessor's office reports that the office recently concluded 3 days of grievance hearings held between June 16th and 18th. The grand list value for taxation purposes was set at $26,328,161. If you want to know the actual value of the property making up the grand list, multiplied by 100. We had that discussion last year, so it's more like 2.6.
Move the decimal over twice.
2.6 billion, yeah. The grand list reports were produced and shared with the finance department to allow for the generation of FY27 tax bills. The Environmental Sustainability Coordinator reports that the installation of 8 level 3 fast chargers in the South Main parking lot was completed just in time for the 4th of July weekend. Norwich Technologies is working to get the chargers recognized on various sites and apps that identify where charges are located, and with VTrans to get signage on the highway. The cost of this project was covered through a federal NEVI program with a 20% match from Norwich Solar. Tesla backup batteries were installed on June 29th and 30th at the emergency cell towers located in White River Junction and in Queechee. These batteries will provide backup power to sites during power outages. They were installed through GMP's battery wall program. Parks and Rec notes that the Queechee Balloon Festival wrapped up on June 21st, and they raised $13,004 for the Brian Hansen Scholarship Fund by assisting with parking for that event. The Planning Department notes that historic district signage is in process. They've executed a contract with a vendor to construct up to 4 signs for districts that have been put on the National Register of Historic Properties in the past few years, and to replace missing signs. Public Works notes that Country Lane repairs have been done. The contractors completed the guardrail portion of the project, and they've met with FEMA and Vermont Emergency Management on final reimbursement. The Highway Division within DPW has been busy cleaning up after the strong wind and rainstorm event, which had over 15 trees down. And again, they note within that division that the Country Lane erosion project has been completed. Moving on to the fire department, they want to note congratulations are in order to Lieutenant Mitch White, who retired on June 30th after 20 years of dedicated service. His commitment has been instrumental to the department's mission, and the department wishes him well in retirement. Lastly, installation is underway for new emergency backup power at 2 public safety radio sites. We just mentioned that. They're powered by Tesla Powerwalls, enhancing resilience and the continuity of communications during outages and emergencies. Police Department notes that Corporal Goslin, Officer Nanatovich, and Officer Brackett were involved in a report that a subject was throwing items out of a window at 34 Prospect Street. The occupant was found to be hanging out the 3rd floor window. The officers pulled the occupant back inside and assisted in obtaining medical care for that person. Separately, multiple officers responded to a welfare check that was later determined to be a hostage situation on Sykes Mountain Avenue. After a lengthy incident involving assistance from the state police, the female subject was removed and the male was arrested on several charges stemming from the incident. Thank you.
Great, thank you, John. Any questions or comments about John's report? Tim?
I just had a couple quick questions that maybe you could loop back on. One is, as it relates to these fast charging stations, we had 4 previous, which I understand are kind of a different level type station. So now we have dedicated 12 spaces to these electrical charging stations. And I'm just curious if we have any way over time of monitoring the usage of those spaces. I don't know whether that's anything that would
That'd be a
be.
good question for Dana to answer if he's able to. Thank you.
Thanks, Dana.
Yeah, so there were the 4 original chargers that were there. They were charge point, they've been removed. And then there were 6 put in through a separate grant. Those are all level 2. In those spaces too, one of the things I worked out with planning is that they do allow combustion engine vehicles to park there for the time being, because when I did track them, I do have the data on the level 2s. The town owns and operates those. As far as the level 3s, those are owned and operated through Norwich Technologies, so I cannot track that data on like an interface, but I'm sure I could work with them to see, what's there. And as was mentioned in the SIGAX, with putting the signage on the highways and on the apps. Level 3s are destination chargers. They will bring people to town, whereas those level 2s are more there for the people that are already here kind of thing. But yeah, we can track the level 2s.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks, Dana. Other questions for John? Comments? Not seeing any. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to board report motions and ordinances. And we'll start with the item that we added in order of agenda, which is a logistical scheduling item. Okay, so as I understand it, we need to set the tax rate this week.
Yes, to do the reverse engineering, basically, we need to get tax bills out 30 days in advance of the first due date, which is August 15th, I believe. So that takes you back to July 15th, but it's not like you can throw a switch and send bills out. Bills need to be printed, actually dried out for a period of time so that they don't gum up our mail folding machine, which can be temperamental. So I'm told, back to the Gale administration, that that's a good practice. And so ideally, you'd have a day to print these bills, a day for them to rest, and then the next day be mailing them out. And so we think that doing so early next week would be cutting it too close.
Okay,
That's why we're suggesting a brief meeting Thursday evening.
The third floor is a good drying area for things I understand.
Warming, a good warming shed.
It's a warming shelter.
Okay, so I think the suggestion is Thursday evening.
Yeah, in the past, we've done it immediately after the workday at 5 o'clock. Hopefully that would be convenient to anybody.
Right. Okay. People available Thursday at 5?
This Thursday.
Correct. Thursday the 9th.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I might be on Zoom, if that's okay. So, will someone, I mean, I can run the meeting from Zoom, that's fine. You'll be here in person?
I can.
You can be, okay. And then for the running the Zoom, Miranda, Mike. Miranda, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'm just a little weary of all the scheduling we've done recently, sorry. But we're gonna get there.
Yeah, because it needs to be 5, right?
We need to have 5 people present, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you can't make it, we could do it with the other 5 of us.
You need to be on Zoom.
Yeah, but that still counts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I should be fine.
Okay,
I'll be fine.
okay, so just in terms of who's gonna run the Zoom from the room,
As long as my Zoom works.
okay.
If not, I'll get like.
And you've done it before, Mike, right? Correct? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll
we
try to
should
update
have
it
enough
again.
backup to make it work. And I will Zoom in at 5 PM.
Thursday, 5 o'clock.
Okay. All right, so that will be Thursday. And the main focus of that will be the tax rate
And the approval of one of the accounts payable payroll.
and the approval of one of the accounts payable payroll. Okay, and then we also need to schedule a meeting, which we're thinking for Monday at 5 PM, which would be to vote on appointing a new town manager. Does anyone have conflicts with Monday at 5 PM? You have a conflict?
No, I.
Oh, no conflict?
I'll be zooming in. I will plan
Tim
to
will
zoom
come
in.
on Zoom, okay, yes.
Is there a reason we aren't conducting them? Just out of
Yes.
curiosity.
Yeah,
Okay.
it won't be, we won't be ready by this Thursday.
Okay.
It'll be at 5. I have something on the 13th, but I can't see it on my calendar.
Okay,
But I think it's probably later on in the evening. I'm not sure. Something is the 13th, I know.
yeah. Okay,
But
we'll say tentatively 5,
Yeah.
if there's a major issue, let
Yeah.
us know.
Yeah.
Okay, that one I will be in person here for. Okay. All right, so 2 more meetings. One on Thursday and one on Monday, both at 5 PM. And we'll make sure those are warned and announced.
Yes.
And we can send a reminder so people know the exact time.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to adoption of the proposed town staff social media policy. As we mentioned earlier, we've heard about this policy 2 times now, so now I think it's ready for our final approval.
The only change we made from the last meeting was to get rid of the listing of all the social media platforms we use. And basically saying we use social media platforms. And if any staff is in doubt about which ones to use, to contact this communications and media specialist.
Okay, great. Any further discussion on this one? If not, I can take a motion, which is on page 12 of the packet.
Who has it? Somebody got it?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Eric?
Thank you. I move that the select board adopt the social media policy as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Eric and a second from Tim. Any discussion? Oh,
I think,
I'm sorry, can I withdraw that motion?
yes.
I need to restate it. I move that the select board add the social media policy to the town of Hartford general personnel policy to be adopted.
did you want to add the amendment? That it's actually an amendment.
Thank you. I'll move that the amendment be added to the social,
You're right. social media policy.
It's just it's weird.
Weird language in this suggested motion
Uh,
for the folks at home.
The amendment to add, I move that the amendment to add the social media policy to the Town of Hartford General Personnel Policy be adopted.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. So this motion, we have from Eric and a second from Mary. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? 6 in favor, 1 absent.
And thank you for him putting that together. It's a lot
I
of
will,
work.
Yeah.
no,
He
sure.
did a great
Yeah,
job with
Yeah,
it.
thanks for your work on that, JD, if you ever hear us.
If you're on that plane somewhere,
I'll make sure he watches the video.
Okay. Okay. Item B, we're gonna consider awarding a consulting contract for the town hall HVAC overhaul. And Dana's here. Thank you, Dana. We'll let you give a brief overview. I know this is another one that we've discussed with you before in meetings, so any new information or things that are important to draw our attention to in the updated memo will be great to hear, and then we can move into discussion.
Okay, yeah, I mean, just the overview that, yeah, we met 2 weeks ago and reviewed the 4 proposals that were given to us. And then in the last 2 weeks, well, at the last meeting, we also reviewed the analysis that Richard did. And we were asked to, well, I was asked to send those questions on to the 2 finalists. I did that. We got their responses, you know, different questions, so different responses. You know, please don't get caught up in the length of each of the responses because they were asked what they would, you know, what to do. And the one included an RFP and then a template of an RFP, which made their, you know, their responses longer, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they, you know, that the other person's cut it short. I guess where we're at is, you know, we still have those two folks. We kind of left it as, do we want to do a design build or design bid build? Meaning, you know, do we want the consultant to be the ones that design the system or not? That's the key difference in price. Again, these are all costs that are gonna be part of the project. If we don't pay them now, we're gonna pay them later. So let's not also, you know, get into this kind of fallacy that there's a cheaper option. Yeah, you know, I've gotten a couple references for both vendors. They both seem really rock solid. It really just comes down to, you know, I think which road do we want to take, which path do we want to take. I'm still in favor of LN, also now in part because we don't know what this is going to cost. And I think with having the consultants design the system, at least we'll get within the ballpark of what the system's going to cost. For planning purposes, I think that would benefit us. But really, I don't think we can go wrong with either firm.
Great. Okay, thanks, Dana, for that overview. Questions? Tim?
the only thing I've run into in this situation is that, you know, you can have an engineering firm design a system, and then when you go out to the contractors, as we know, there probably aren't many, right? They kind of like do this little bit of like, oh, you know, the engineer designed that as a little bit of a, you know, you want me to build that, you know, as opposed to like, this is what we would build or whatever. You get like that tension sometimes. So I don't know whether you think that's, I mean, I've worked with LN, they're a very solid group. But I'm just, have run into that in the past where, you know, you get ARC or Alliance or whoever, like who bids on this job, and they're kind of like, you know, the engineer designed something that they're kind of rolling their eyes about because they could have perhaps designed something simpler or, you know, more practical or easier to service or something of that nature. So I think we should just keep an eye on that, whichever route we go.
And I was thinking about that earlier too, and I think the other way, potentially, I would hope the other way that they push back as well, right?
Correct.
If the contractor designs the system, I would expect the consultant to take a look at the designs.
Yeah, so they kind of,
Yeah, I mean, either way, I expect that friction. In a way, I kind of hope for it, because I think it's gonna give us a better product. Yeah, you know, well, there's gonna be a lot to muddle through regardless.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my only other final comment is that, you know, I think all of us would concur that, you know, this is from the taxpayer or citizen standpoint, they're probably frustrated, like, wait a minute, you just built this building, why is there, so, I really hope that on the other end, we can feel much better about the system that we buy and is in place, in terms of longevity and so on and so forth. So,
Yeah, I think, I think with both contractors, they have a kind of a history of putting it simple systems together as well. The whole kiss it, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah,
Well, I want something with a thermostat that people can use,
right,
and yeah.
yeah. Okay, thank you for all your work on that.
Leave a little more space for select board questions, and then we'll have some space for public input if there is any on this issue. And then we'll make a discussion and decision. So yeah, questions on this decision between Allen Consulting and CX Associates. Right.
Thanks, Ida. Dina, I understand that you brought this back to the staff and the staff were recommending LN. Can you share what their reasoning was?
Basically, I've been the one leading it, so I'm not gonna put this decision on other people.
Right.
People have given input,
Right,
and it's kind of, yeah, either one looks good. But, yeah, my rationale, like I just gave, for we get a price point ahead of time. But again, they're both reputable companies, and I'd feel confident in either of them.
okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions at this point for Dana? Okay, if there are any comments from people in the public about the HVAC overhaul contract, you're welcome to raise your hand. Seeing none, so we'll close public input for this item and go back to any discussion, can I get a sense from board members where people are leaning? Because we do have to choose between two options here. Eric?
Thank you, Ida. I would go with the staff recommendation. I think that's a compelling reason that we get a design and we understand what the cost is before you go out to seek the financing and funding for this project. Also, the point about familiarity with, I don't remember the granting or the funding at the federal level. That
The direct pay program.
Right, I mean, if that resonates with staff, that's another compelling reason. I do appreciate the comment that Tim made about the buildability of other people's designs. I've been on the building side of designs that, but I do hope that in the process, the two, both the contractor and the engineering consulting firm are collaborating, and that as a staff, staff is facilitating that. So I'd go with the staff recommendation on this and get to brass tacks sooner than later.
I agree with that. Other folks agreeing? Okay, great, then it sounds like we're ready for a motion here. Someone willing to make a motion?
I'll go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Mary.
All right, thank you. I move that the Hartford Select Board authorize the town manager to sign the proposal for HVAC replacement consulting with LN Consulting for $159,000.
Thank you. Motion from Mary. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Miranda. Any further discussion needed? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? We have 6 in favor, 1 absent.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dana, for
Thanks, Dana.
yeah, for kind of the thoroughness with which you approach this and your patience with the process.
The Odyssey,
The Odyssey, yes.
the Odyssey has begun.
It's just starting, yes.
Upstairs staff will be elated at the forward motion. Thank you.
It's gonna be the rest of the summer is gonna be a cool summer.
From your lips to God's ears.
Thank you.
night.
Dana. Okay,
Thanks, Dana.
Chief Cooney, I just made you a panelist here.
Okay, I'm gonna
Got
try
it.
to share my screen.
Okay, and this item is to consider the approval of ambulance debt write-off, and Chief Cooney has prepared a presentation to explain this situation, which we appreciate. Did I just accepted something? What is?
Yes, you gave me permission
Okay.
to share my
Okay,
screen.
great.
Okay, so this is an annual process the fire department brings before the board to write off years of ambulance debt. We only keep 2 years of debt on the books, so we're going over 1 year to ask your consideration in removing that from both the town's financial software and for the ambulance billing software as well. But currently, the fire department bills for patient transports and paramedic intercepts to patients. Rates and fees are in the fee schedule and determined annually and approved by the board. The billing we do internally within the fire department, my administrative assistant, Michelle Wheatley, does a great job in doing all the ambulance billing. And we utilize both the reporting software and a billing software called TriTech. The current rates for ambulance transports in Hartford, these are rates are based on the Medicare system, ALS 1, ALS 2, and BLS level services. ALS 1 is $900. ALS 2 is $1,200. BLS $650. We charge $16.25 per loaded patient mile, and we charge outside agencies $375 plus procedures for intercepting their service with one of our paramedics. A little bit of revenue, what the ambulance services and ambulance contracts generates annually. This is from Unismart. So in 2024, we estimated $600,000 in ambulance fees and $821,068 was collected. And then in FY25, we again estimated just a little over 600 and brought 854. We also use, new in 2025, we partnered with a healthcare billing clearinghouse company. They capture a very small amount of each transaction we send them, but it focuses all the billing requests to one clearinghouse, and then it goes out to the insurance agencies and allows us to, rather than my administrative assistant mailing individual, tracking down whose insurance and what the patient addresses is, they use this clearinghouse to capture that data so we can send the patient bills directly. And how this, the next few slides kind of describe how a write-off exists in the first place, why we do have to do this every year. So basically, we are restricted in some insurance companies on what we're allowed to charge. And the first one I'll go over is Medicare. So with Medicare, we receive 80% from Medicare itself and then co-insurance from the patient. And then there's a mandatory write-off that's adjusted. So this is actual amounts from a patient that was transported. We billed them for an ALS transport, $1,018.63. The base rate was paid to us, which is set by Medicare, $715.95. They paid us $77.44 towards the transport. We are mandatory, we have to write off about $400 from that charge, and then the patient is responsible for that $125,000. So that's that mandatory write-off, and then whether or not, if the patient pays, generates the write-off. Medicaid, it's 51%, so it's the same kind of scenario, just based on that. In this case, we billed over $1,000, and we had to write off $439 from that transport. VA tends to pay 100%, but a lot of that's based on your connected level of service as well. So sometimes there is patient responsibility as well for those. And then private insurance, we charge 100%. So this is your Blue Cross, your MVPs, those kind of things. We charge 100%. They usually ask for assignment, which means they're a negotiated minimum rate that they're proposing, but we don't negotiate that, and they're required to pay in full. We do allow payment arrangements as low as $5 a month if an individual wants to keep up with their bill. That's the lowest amount that you have to good with us. So a few, probably 6-7 years ago, we, through an auditor recommendation, we're to leave just 2 years of debt on the books as far as ambulance debt is concerned. So now every year we write off the third year of debt. So this is a look back to the period, the fiscal year from 7/1/22 to 6/30/20, I should say 23. 3. In that period, the total write-off during that period of uncollectible funds is $192,469.91. And below that, I've broken it out into which category generated what amount of write-off. As you can see, the highest amount is our private pay, and we've seen that slowly ticking up. And that is mainly generated from those who don't pay the bill, those that we can't find, the non-locatable, and then there's a third, it's escaping me at the moment.
Insurance companies that don't
And
pay.
insurance companies that don't pay, absolutely. But we are slowly starting to see that increase. So that was 103,000. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Any questions about this? Just gonna check with the board first. See no board questions, so yeah, we can open for public input or questions.
That's not, it's just a question.
Yeah, just
VA,
introduce, sorry,
Jeanette Sharkey Potter, White River Junction. So the VA at 13%, that 24,000, you said they do reimburse at 100% though.
The charges that a VA patient would be eligible are reimbursed at 100%. There are charges that they'll pay, there is a patient responsibility that's due,
okay.
and that generates the.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes the patient doesn't get 100% of their health care, they get a portion of their health care.
Service,
So
yeah,
so they would get, yeah.
Okay, and the difference between commercial insurance and private insurance, is there a difference there?
Not, I asked my billing person that very same question, because it showed up on there. It is what the insurance company itself does not pay, will not pay. Where private insurance is a combination of the two, where the patient has a responsibility they're not paying. This is 70% is billed to insurance company and they haven't paid.
Thanks for those questions. Any discussion on this from the select board?
I will tell you that a couple of years ago, I looked into the possibility of selling this debt to third-party collections. There's really not much appetite for it, and I've talked with other town managers, and no other municipality has taken that step, because it's probably not a very lucrative avenue to go down.
Are ambulance services generally within the town of Hartford, or are these other towns we also serve through dispatch and so on? Any sense of the geography of this?
All these are generated from a Hartford transport, right? So we can only create a bill for somebody we physically transport to a hospital. So if I go to your home and don't transport you, there's no fee for that. So these are us responding to any patient. And yes, we do service Heartland, Sharon. If we go to Lebanon tonight, that number could be in here as well. But it would be people outside of the community as well.
I mean, obviously, the goal would be to reduce the write-off or that we have to say goodbye to kind of thing, or, and I kind of get it, but I was just curious if there is any value in evaluating it from like who's not paying, like is it generally, if it is indeed an outlying town that tends to have a lot of non-payers, would it be appropriate to kind of come up with some other agreement with the town or something of that sort, like, hey, we're providing you ambulance services, but we're really struggling getting payments here, and come up with some other strategy to reduce that.
Now that I understand your question, that is covered by the current agreements we have with those communities. So in those contract communities with us, there's a clause within that contract that if the patient doesn't pay, the town is responsible.
Okay, so we do have a safety net there. If you
Yeah, we do.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments about this, rating off this debt? Okay. Oh, one comment? Sure.
Jeanette Sharkey Potter, White River Junction. I'm curious if the community nurse program, if we'll see a correlation between the dropping of these, and I'm assuming that's one of the goals of the community nursing program, if this number will go down because you're alleviating the need for these transports. Is that something that you're anticipating?
It's difficult to capture the data for the people I don't transport. That's a hard number to grasp. But we do look at it. In fact, I'm working with the community nurse right now to give the select board an update on what her world kind of looks like and what the needs are in the community nurse position. And I hope to have some of that data for that presentation. To show what, because right now we can use Medicare as kind of a reference to see how our aging population is utilizing the services. Yeah.
Great, yeah, that'll be interesting to see that forthcoming presentation, looking forward to it. Okay, is anyone ready to make a motion on this? Eric?
I'll give it a go. I feel like I need to do better. I move that the select board authorize the town manager to direct the finance director and fire department to write off $192,469.91 as uncollectible ambulance debt.
There's a motion from Eric, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Tim. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Motion carries with 6 in favor and 1 absent. Thanks, Chief, for the clear presentation and explanation, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on to our next item, which is also with Chief Cooney. And this item is about a new fire apparatus financing proposal. And there's been a little bit of email back and forth. I want to make sure that we have the right thing in front of us.
There's a hard
I will
copy.
direct you to it.
Okay.
So on your desk is a
On our desk.
new packet
Okay,
with the latest and greatest for me.
okay,
Yes.
great.
All right.
All right, and I assume this will be, if it hasn't already been, included in an updated packet online,
Yes,
the most recent
it
one.
has been
Okay,
updated
all
on
right,
the
so
back.
folks, if you're listening in, the most recent version of the packet online should have this updated agenda item. And we'll ask Chief to walk us through it briefly.
And if it does not, I'll clear it with Ally tomorrow to make sure. I think there might be one page or two that is not the same.
Okay,
Great, so yes, so the packet materials I submitted last week have changed, and my recommendation has changed since I originally posted that. Last evening, I got notified from one of the financing agents, and some material came to me, and that my calculations and their calculations were off. So I double checked my work and found an error in my calculation, and that drove me to making a different recommendation to you folks. So I'll lead you through the process and see how I got there.
okay,
All right, so we came and saw you months ago to ask you to support Sutphin Engineering as our new fire apparatus manufacturer. We've been working, and a team of us at the fire department have been working with them for months now to design the piece of apparatus. What got us here is we have 2 fire apparatus that are reaching their end of just 20-year service to the community. A 2008 heavy rescue and a 2009 fire engine. Now, if we were to go to the market to replace current fleet and replace each one of those independently, current estimates are for both apparatus combined, $2,339,936. So what I did is I talked to staff, we considered our use case for the apparatus, and determined that could we combine a pumper and a rescue to utilize here in Hartford that would meet our needs? And the answer was yes. So what we have proposed is going down one in fleet and combining it into a single unit. And on this page, you can see that's the proposed design. We actually somewhat mirrored a truck they had already built that exists down in Texas. And forget, I'm not gonna pronounce the name because I'm gonna do a terrible job of it. But anyways, we sent a member down to do a site visit and see the apparatus, and as well as got a wonderful experience with their department and their committee that built their unit, and heard all the good things, bad things, things that they would change, all that kind of stuff, and incorporated that into our design. We finalized all those changes and got a price from Sutphen for 1.3, a little over almost 1.4 million for this vehicle. They estimate a delivery, once the contract is approved, of 24 to 30 months to build and deliver it. And they did offer some discounts depending on when you pay. In this case, if we did a full payment at order, they offered a $77,000 discount. So during this portion, we looked at different ways to finance that, because we do not have cash on hand in the reserve for a purchase this significant. Because apparatus prices have changed significantly over the years. In 2016, I bought a pumper. I was in the purchasing process for a pumper. It was $600,000. In 2020, the town purchased a brand new ladder truck for $986,000. That same vehicle today, MSRP for that ladder truck is 1.6 million. So that shows you what the market has done kind of over time. So I looked at two different ways we've done purchasing of these kind of apparatus before. One is the municipal lease purchase, which is it's a common practice used by cities and towns. It's used by our community. We purchased the ladder truck and the radio simulcast system through a lease purchase program. Doesn't require voter approval. It's not considered long-term debt because it's annual appropriation. It's approved by the select board. Relatively fast, simple process. Tax exempt interest includes a non-appropriation clause, which means that doesn't require you, if funds were not appropriated by the voters in that given year, there'd be a repossession kind of type process. And the ownership transfers upon the final payment, and typically used for fire apparatus, SCBA, radio systems, turnout gear packages, those kind of things. Then also municipal bonding, which I was somewhat familiar with because we just did that with Station 2. It is a formal long-term debt instrument used by cities and towns. It does require voter approval. There's more transaction costs involved. You've got to hire a bond attorney and go through those processes. It typically has a lower interest rate because of how it's done. It is long-term debt. It's used for typical larger projects. Is used for fleet programs and situations where the town is already planning bond issuance. So the quote we got from Leasing 2, which is a current agent, offered a rate of 4.98% for a 10-year term. We had a discussion about, since it takes 2 to 2.5 years to get the fleet purchase, we know we're going to sell 2 pieces of fire apparatus at the end of this. What would be a convenient way to apply some of that towards paying down the loan? So I proposed that to Leasing 2. They suggested a balloon payment in year 3, which pretty much lines up with the delivery date. That would reduce the overall principal payment that given year, and they projected that out. And they took advantage of the manufacturer's discount. So they reduced their amount by $77,000, assuming that we would pay 100% when we execute the contract. This is the amortization schedule that led me down this road last night when I saw the differences there. But basically it shows in between year 3 and 4, that boxed area shows that balloon payment, assuming that that's what we get for those 2 pieces of apparatus in 2029. But overall, over the life of this financed loan, we would be paying $350,397 in interest payments. So then I got looking at the bond bank and speaking with them. Now they did an illustrative rate of 3.16, so almost 2% less than the lease. But there were some caveats. They don't allow the early prepayment. So you can't take advantage of that piece of it. And they don't allow early payments in the pooled loan program. So the 275 estimated revenue we would get from selling those 2 pieces of apparatus would just have to come back to the general fund, which could be used for making a payment or other projects or into a reserve or those kind of things. They did suggest some creative way of using it, doing a bridge loan to a 10-year note, but he did not think that was gonna be feasible, although he offered it as an option. Obviously, we would need a bond counsel to review this. Rates would be subject to change, but it is lower interest payments. So that's pretty much what the debt service looks. If you remember, it was like 350,000 in interest payments for there. Here we're down to 216,000. So once I had this fresh last evening, I kind of went down a different road. But just to summarize, we do have a fire truck that currently we're paying on a schedule. The last payment for the ladder truck will occur on May 1st, 2029. That final payment amount is $93,506.67. And as John and I discussed, that there might be, if we did financing out of the gate on execution, that there'd be a couple of years where we'd be paying twice, and then we'd have a drop-off year when that comes.
Quick question on ladder one, what's the financing mechanism for that?
Leasing two, it is the lease purchasing agent that estimated on this as well.
So-
But at the time, in 2020, the interest rates were much lower.
So does that suggest a potential payoff isn't particularly rewarding because you're on the back end of that lease?
Might not be. All right, so discussion I thought I'd have with you tonight is kind of going over those two, see what your thoughts are as to financing. Obviously, the leasing proposal, it's simple, it's a select board approval. It is a larger interest cost to the town, and it does take the sale of the current apparatus into applying the loan. But in the bond proposal now it is required, it's a longer process, it is long-term debt, it is a voter approval process. It does require some public hearings, retaining a bond attorney. The interest rate is lower. It does come in at only $216,031 in interest payments. And the sale, the 275 or whatever it is, 2 years from now, does come back to us. It doesn't go towards the financing agent, so whoever's on the board at the time can determine that. So basically, with that information, I suggest the following options are available to the board. And I think number one is my recommendation. So it would be to approve Suffin's proposal, which is on page 2 of that packet piece, is agreeing to their purchase price, signing a deal with them. This is a contract with them on that price for $1,381,524. The benefit of doing that is it locks us into some price protection for the term, because this is a 24 to 30 month build. Things change over time. By signing the contract with them, it protects us with a 5% protection increase. So they calculate, they do reserve the right to charge us more in 24 months if certain things happen. And that is if the producer price index exceeds 5% from the month the contract was executed compared to 12 months prior to the completion date of the delivery of the vehicle. And we would be responsible for increases in costs that exceed that 5%. So if that period of time, the increase in that producer price index is 7%, we'd be charged 2% extra on the purchase price. And then proceed with a bond or other financing opportunities in March of this year or later. Another option would be to delay the bond till a further year after that, if you wanted to. A lot of times it is advantageous for us to bundle bonds with other projects that are happening as well. I know you guys are talking about the heating and ventilating system here. It might be something that you go to the bond bank and say, we're doing this, this, and this. It might be opportunity. We don't have to pay for the truck until delivery. So that's 24 to 30 months out. So you don't have to pursue financing until you come closer to that date if you don't want it. So my suggestion this evening is that we just approve the contract to lock in the price and the 5% protection increase. And then through the upcoming budget cycle, when you determine other capital needs, capital projects, additional bond requests that might be out there, maybe bundle them into something for the voters that way, rather than just a standalone item for the fire department. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, excellent. So it sounds like with the decision in front of us, as reflected in the motion on the printout, is to move forward with the contract, but to not make a final decision on the exact financing approach. And you've laid out nicely what some possible options are that we can consider moving forward, but we don't have to commit to one of these options tonight in order for you to move forward with ordering this vehicle. Okay, thank you. Questions for Chief Cooney?
Well, it's interesting if my math is right, because if you took 10% on a $1.3 million truck, that's 130,000. So if we tended to slide to option 2, we potentially would save that 130,000 by doing bond financing as opposed to lease financing. So it's kind of intriguing for me to do option 2, because you basically get the truck, you start to build, and yet the 5% protection thing is intriguing, but if you compare that to the potential for finance savings of an equal amount or less, then it strikes me that number 2 is very attractive.
Thank you. I like the recommended motion. I understand that it's a more complex process, but I do think there are savings there, and I think what's unclear to me is sort of the overhead to administer this, to set it up, to hire the bond attorney and so on. It's a little unclear to me, but I don't think we actually need to know that. I think the recommended motion makes a lot of sense to lock this in and then give the town manager the opportunity to present to the board in the future the optimal approach for financing it, considering a broader scope of things, and given that we'll be talking CIP, brass tacks, this is all sort of falling into place nicely. So I think what's recommended makes good sense to me.
I agree. I think the recommended motion makes sense at this time. Yes,
I just
Mary?
have a perhaps naive question that doesn't have to do with the financing. Both Rescue 1 and Engine 3, do they usually go out together?
Depends on the emergency.
Okay.
So Rescue 1 is our USAR, so Urban Search and Rescue and Technical Rescue Vehicle. So it's very specific, typically what it's utilized for. So if we're doing high angle rescue, confined space, building collapse, trench rescue, those kind of things, consider that the master toolbox for the fire department.
Okay.
Where a pumper is for structural firefighting,
Okay.
mainly, and fire suppression.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're ready for a motion if someone is ready to make it, and it's on the printout. Miranda? Yes?
I move the select board authorize the town manager to accept the purchase proposal from Sutphen for the new rescue/engine in the amount of $1,381,524, and direct the town manager to further investigate the most advantageous financing agreement to complete this acquisition.
Motion from Miranda.
I'll second.
Second from Tim. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion passes with 6 in favor and 1 absent.
Thank you,
Thank
Scott.
you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Chief
you,
Cooney.
Scott.
And
You're
yeah,
welcome.
always appreciate demonstrating efforts to, increase efficiencies, and going from 2 vehicles to 1 seems like a really wise move especially for such an expensive piece of equipment, probably the most expensive piece of equipment that we purchase as a town. So yeah, thanks for your creativity and openness to finding a solution that is a little more efficient in terms of how many vehicles we need.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
all right. We are moving moving right along. Next item is to discuss our annual work plan engagement events. This was a discussion the board had at our last meeting. I was not here. I did listen to the discussion, and you made some great progress in terms of sort of laying out our upcoming events and holding those in our heads and making sure that we have people lined up to keep tabs on what needs to happen when for all of these events. So I will turn it over to you, Eric, to introduce what we want to talk about tonight.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is primarily a discussion of logistics and just tying up some loose ends. So CIP prioritization workshop, we've already locked that in. Bear in mind that we're going to get a lot of documentation the week before that. So put that on your calendar to spend some time, set aside some time for that. FY budget prep, I think Tim's deadline for material to him was close of business yesterday. Don't know if there's any latitude there, if people didn't get that material in, but that's you're still the point person there.
I mean, I'd still love to hear from you. I've heard from two of you, and that's great. And I think we should just continue to build that and try and stay on top of it.
Right.
Obviously, with the other transitions, we'll probably be visiting a lot of this stuff anyway and kind of getting a good refresher. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Thanks for being the recipient of all that information and being willing to consolidate it.
As a reminder, and would it help, just sorry to interrupt, but would it help if Tim maybe bumped his email to folks or?
I'm willing to be, I
Okay.
mean, if you want to go even to this Friday, that's perfectly fine with me.
Okay,
I think maybe to put pressure on me to, pull that stuff together, perhaps at the next meeting or the meeting, whatever you feel like is appropriate time, that I would sort of pull all that material together in a coherent presentation of sorts. So that seems like a working model?
yeah, I mean, for the next regular meeting, we would need the packet item by next Thursday, so.
Let's not do that then, because I'm in Maine for the entire
Right,
week.
right,
I think that meeting is premature, actually,
Okay.
for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
okay,
Okay, yeah, so anyway, it'll come together, but I am willing to extend for the rest of the board, please put some thought into just sort of the big stuff and capital needs and so on, and loop back to me, that'd be great.
yeah, and this is an email Tim sent on Wednesday, the 24th, so.
And really, it's sort of like imagining yourself here in November and December, and we're trying to make budget decisions, and there's questions that we didn't ask in time. And what happens is we get into a cycle where we just don't have enough time to ask some of these major sort of structural changes, questions, or what have you, and have staff spend the time to come back to us. And so it's if really we're on the tail end of I feel like we're on the tail end of that window where we can ask staff to sort of explore and research and get back to us in time for they're working on their budgets in September and so on. So time is of the essence here, but yeah, I think it's going to have to wait until after the 21st to have a broader meeting on it. CIP public engagement, I discussed this with Rethink Local, and this is really going to be the proposal that's on the table here. It's in blue, so the board has a chance to weigh in tonight, but what we've settled on is something that's really focused on information sharing with the public and with the CIP committee. So between now and then, which sort of thinking September timeframe, between now and then we'll need to constitute the CIP committee. And that committee will sort of receive a handoff effectively from Rethink Local. And Alex spoke about him and his team creating a bunch of videos, like 10-minute explainer videos and other deliverables beyond just the spreadsheets and so on. But it will also be an opportunity for the public to engage. But it's really I'm suggesting that we move it off of the select board's plate and onto the CIPC's plate. That's the proposal that's in front of you tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of why we went that route, right? That's why we were spending money for a consultant to kind of move it along without us, kind of thing, right?
And why we're setting up a committee.
Yeah.
To sort of own this thing and be the one that learns to ride the bike for the years to come.
Right, and part of the idea with the committee, just a refresher too, is that, once the consultant's consulting is over, we want to make sure that there's a body that's maintaining that
Keeps
work
it
and keep it
moving.
moving. So it's
Yeah.
sort of like who is Rethink Local passing the torch to in terms of making sure that we're staying attuned to what we decided regarding the CIP.
So I think Select Board would be encouraged to attend this, particularly to hear the sort of the full picture of how this, what went into developing it, what are the policy level type decisions, and also to hear public input as well. But it's not, I don't think it would not be a Select Board hosted event.
Is August 2nd the date for that?
No, it's September timeframe for that one.
Okay.
Braver Angels for Community Leaders. This is about inviting formal and informal community leaders to build skills and help them become more effective change makers and cultivate social capital. So it's a little bit of a slant on some of the existing workshops that I think are offered. We have Miranda as the point person, but we need to confirm that tonight.
Yes.
You're still there? Okay.
Still there.
For it?
Yep.
Okay.
So I think
Okay.
we'll just wait to hear from you as that develops, but August 25th is like right around the corner.
I mean, it's scheduled.
Okay.
I think we just need to start doing like promotion and like invites and stuff. And Braver Angels made a poster and everything. I just hadn't started promoting it because it still feels like late July would be a better time to. You don't want to like give people too much time to sign up.
Yeah. So have you already discussed with them like the structure and the format? Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Sorry.
And so they're open, no, it's awesome. No, I just had no idea that it you moved it forward. That's great. So they were open to kind of, this pitch of like bringing other community members in and okay, awesome. Thank you. All right.
So I had two thoughts around that. One is, I'm sure like the Vital Communities does those sort of, leadership training kind of opportunities for leaders throughout the Upper Valley community, but I was sort of intrigued by the idea that should we consider the school, as part of that? Like, would it be nice to suggest that invite that they also develop those skills? Not to suggest they don't have them, but I thought it'd be a really nice gesture because we are trying to build like a better school-town relationship. That this might be a nice opportunity to kind of get some of the perhaps school board to participate in this workshop or whatever it looks like, that might be an interesting,
Good.
might be a cool gesture.
Is this something where people need to RSVP so that the facilitators have a sense of how many facilitators are needed for the group, for a group size?
Yes, so I should check in with them about what platform they want to use for. Is it okay to use the Braver Angels platform for RSVPs or whatever they use?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's great. Thank you for your work on that.
Great.
Excellent.
So next up on the list, public safety listening session. Let's put a pin in that and we'll come back to that because that one might take a little bit more work. Affordability Summit, the brainstorming session we spoke about, we moved that to, it says August 11th, but we moved it to August 12th. So that it does not conflict with the primary election. Since you're on the select board, you're also a BCA member. And so there's an expectation to volunteer on election days. And so we made a little mistake by scheduling them both at the same time. Ashley, I had this in blue because I wasn't sure with her vacation and also the Twin Pines housing thing whether she was going to have capacity for this, but she has hit the ground running and is working to set up a structure so that it helps ensure a successful brainstorming session. Because we've all been to these types of sessions where we don't walk away with actionable recommendations or projects, and so that's top of mind for her. And so she's communicating with both Energy Commission and the Housing and Homelessness and Resilient Hartford. And I think, Tim, maybe she reached out to you on the Business Revolving Loan Fund to see whether there was potential for any synergies there, or whether they wanted to participate in this. I feel like maybe I saw an email, but if not, you're scowling at me, so maybe I'll just forward it since she's on vacation, so.
And I have to confess that I need to engage with that group more, that's been my bad on that one.
So she did outline sort of what this event would look like, and maybe it's just at the next revolving loan fund meeting, just introduce the idea and see whether they have interest in collaborating and attending this August 12th workshop.
And then just a quick Logistical note, perhaps for you, John, to communicate forward, but we will need a different type of support from JAM for that August 12th meeting, because we're hoping to have it broadcast from room 2, which I know we've done from past workshops.
Yep.
So it just takes a little more setup of the owl over on that side.
Yep.
So next up in the fall lineup, potential joint select board, school board meeting. I don't know if you have anything to report on that, Tim. If not, it's perfectly understandable given the workload that we've been under.
I reached out to Nancy Russell, and as of today, I've also reached out to Katie Sutton to try and kind of get that, coffee chat, what do you think, kind of thing going. So I am
Okay.
working.
Great. So skipping back, so I don't think we need to get into the January, February stuff tonight unless anyone really wants to. Okay, I didn't think so.
That's too far ahead.
Right. So that brings us back up to the public safety listening session. This was included in the engagement plan that Miranda and Ida presented a time ago. I don't remember how long ago, but so what we need to do is figure out how this thing is going. We need to actually produce an event here, and so we need some select board members that are willing to lead this. First, we should probably just check in and make sure we have capacity to do it. And secondly, have some point people step up and then figure out what needs to happen. I think there's probably a lot of work to loop in the public safety staff members, because I think in a successful event, we've got to sort of set the context for people. So if you just go into the room and ask people what they want, there's going to be a lot of brainstorm ideas, but we want to do it. It has to be contextual and reality based. Like if we offered these 20 services, where would you spend an extra dollar on them, for example? The types of framing that kind of lead to actionable outcomes that we can then do something with during budget season, hopefully. So what we're looking basically, I think, is for point people and sort of a design of what this thing looks like and the processes of executing.
Did this come up, I think, as part of the discussion about the police department possibly relocating to more space? And then the discussion kind of pivoted to, well, what is the future of a police department looking like in Hartford as maybe a determinant of how much space they might need? Is that how we got to this?
That was during the workshop, right?
Well,
Last year, or earlier this year's
Yeah.
workshop?
So we talked about during the workshop, and then, you and I sort of pitched this as we were thinking about community engagement and how to focus listening sessions.
Because I thought Ashley and John were working on.
Ashley, John, and Tim, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think John's accurate. I think what happened was that it was sort of like, well, how would you design a police station if indeed policing changes, right? Or you
Yeah.
would need different resources, or perhaps if you did under a deeper understanding or future thinking around that topic, even the sheer location could change, right? Like maybe it would indeed be near a community center or whatever, that kind of thing. So I think we were saying that it makes sense before you design a building and go after that to kind of get that kind of sense of the community and flush that out so that that's under consideration when indeed you're going to design a new facility, in the future.
When you talk about context or structure, that could be the prologue to any facilitated workshop that we're looking for input of what you'd like your future police department to look like.
Or public safety is sort of how
Public
we're framing it too, and the other
Yeah.
contextual thought that we had was like, on one end of a spectrum is like the Amherst model that has 3 branches of public safety, fire, police, and then a community outreach as a separate branch, as opposed to nested under. So, it's just one of the ideas that have been thrown out there in terms of broad ideas about structure moving forward and what space, how that might imply or impact spacing needs.
I think I like 2 ideas around this. One is picking these specific topics that we want to, flush out and talk to the community about and get some good dialogue. But I also like what Eric was saying about, trying to create a template that's what I would call a productive template. That is to say, you go into these sessions, you certainly don't want it just to be like venting in the gym, right? You want you know, something very tangible that says, okay, these are the 5 things we're wrestling with. And, you know, whatever that looks like format wise for that particular evening or whatever, that it does indeed produce on the other end some workable stuff, you know?
Can I suggest, I'm sorry, can I suggest at this point that, that we find, if we want to go forward with this session in whatever form it takes, we find 1 or 2 board members, probably 2, to serve as the point people, and they work on what it looks like literally what are the objectives of this session, and like getting clear language around that, and then a plan to present to the board either in 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever would be appropriate. So tonight, if we focus tonight's discussion on who's willing to step up and do this work, and then if other board members have ideas that they want to send to those point people, you know, great. So rather than trying to figure out what we're gonna what this session is about, let's let a couple board members go and design it and bring back a proposal.
Yes, and identify a facilitator and potentially work with that facilitator on the design of it, I would say too.
Good point.
Yeah.
So I'll be happy to work with someone. Or
Wow.
well, you know, I don't have anything else going.
So
I don't.
yeah.
My name's not anywhere on this stuff. So
Like you're not working on other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to pitch in as well, now that, you know, I've gotten off a few other burdens, so.
I feel like you've taken on a lot recently.
I'm taking on too much.
I don't know, I'm just saying,
pace yourself.
you've volunteered for several things. You're gonna help with the opioid selection, which is,
Are you sure?
What?
Do you wanna do that?
The opioid thing?
No. The
the public safety planning.
I mean, what I'm intrigued by honestly is like the idea of like fleshing out, you know, best practices, who's doing amazing work here, and then really trying to come up with some really creative solutions for Hartford. I mean, it's pretty neat work, actually.
No, not are you interested? Do you have capacity? Because you've got 13 opioid committee applications to read, you got a
Which
10.
I've read all of them.
Well, go ahead, do it. Why am I arguing with you?
No, I mean, and Ashley's not here, and I know she,
Yeah.
you know, originally when we were doing the police station, let's start working on that thing, she was, you know, wanting to be part of that, so I don't wanna, you know, if she wants to work with you instead of me, that's fine, I mean, I'm just.
She's gone for 2 weeks though, so.
There can be some fluidity, like
Yeah.
we can switch, and we could add a third
Tap in, yeah.
person. So if it's amenable to the rest of the board, you know, Tim and I will get started on this and come back with a proposal for what it looks like, what we're trying to achieve in this session. Is that?
Would you like some input from HPD at this stage? I'd be happy to solicit some, given the general nature of what you're looking at in terms of the workshop with the public.
My sense is that we need to meet first and figure out what our sort of scope is.
Sure.
And then ask them for like, what do you think about this?
Okay.
And how might contract or expand, and sort of have a bit of a dialogue, but I think it feels like the board needs to sort of get clear on what it wants to do first.
I think there's a value, and I wanted to make 2 points around that too. I think, you know, a lot of times in this community, when we want to do work around a topic, it doesn't necessarily imply that we're critiquing the existing work. And I really want to emphasize that, kind of 2 points to that. One is, we're not doing that, like in terms of the existing police force and their efforts and their work. The other thought I wanted to say was that I think kind of what Ida touched on briefly is like, this is a little broader than just police, right? We're kind of thinking about community health and, you know, all kinds of other safety components that don't necessarily speak back to the police department. They might speak to some other group or whatever. So I think that those are the 2 points that are really important to make, that, you know, it's sort of broad community work that isn't specific to like, oh, we have this police force and we think there might be a missing thing here or whatever, that kind of message. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for saying that. Okay,
Can I also add one more?
of course.
I'm also wondering, Ida, if maybe, because you had contacts with Amherst.
Yeah, we never ended up meeting the person, but we
Okay.
emailed and then just missed each other, but I do have a contact there, yeah.
Because I'm wondering if maybe they also have a suggestion for like either type of facilitator or a facilitator that kind of help them get to that community decision. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, definitely send that information to you.
It's really rewarding when it goes well and is run well. You know, like it does happen.
Yeah,
Not all the time, but when
Yeah.
it does happen, it's beautiful, right?
yeah. All right, I have one more thing on this agenda topic if we're done with what you needed to do.
I think I am.
Okay, the last thing is just on our original community engagement plan, we did have an informal pool event, which I know you
Yeah.
had advocated for Miranda. So I just wanted to, and that was maybe not gonna be like a quorum, not a hosted select board engagement, but something that we had put out there just for more casual, chats and.
Is this Sherman or
public
UVAC?
space.
Sherman.
Sherman,
John.
and we had said July, but I don't know if people, they're still interested in, you know, putting that together, or what do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking, who's interested? And maybe we could find a date and then, or find a few dates, and then maybe, John, would you coordinate with,
Scott?
thank you, with Scott to, see what a good day for the pool is, and then, maybe also if we could use select board money to make the pool free that day, so that like, if people want to come in and not pay, we will pay. Their $3 fee, right?
Waive fees,
Yeah, but I guess we would have to cover the.
it's a nice gesture.
Is there a,
Too many people.
3,000 people come.
is there a day or date that you have in mind, or maybe
Yeah.
Scott would tell us
Or
the
maybe
least used day? Maybe it's weather dependent, right?
Right, yeah.
that's also another. Maybe
Yeah.
if he could give us like, date options, and then maybe we pick two, and one is a rain date. If people are interested,
For like,
I'm
are
interested.
you thinking like
I'm
a
going.
weekend, like a Saturday or something, or what are you kind of thinking?
I think either like an evening. What time does
An
the
evening would be
pool
kinda cool.
close?
I don't know, I'm sorry to say.
Cool hours.
I mean, interestingly enough, if you had like more of an after work thing, in the evening, that could be kind of cool, but I don't know what the utilization is there.
I think it closes.
I'm willing to stand under the mushroom waterfall.
Some Fridays and Saturdays they close at 7, but other days of the week they close at like between 5 and 6:30. It was like
Yeah, you could do like a cool 5 to 7 thing.
yeah.
Snacks, music,
So I don't know if there's like a
diving competition.
I mean, weekend obviously is probably one of their busier days, and so
Probably.
like we'd really be bombarding them. So Thursdays are no good. It's what?
Team night.
Oh no, not Thursday.
We're not, no Chuck E. Cheese situation.
But yeah, maybe another day of the week that they.
A Wednesday night or something.
If you'd like,
Wednesday
I can ask Scott for some input and get back to you, Miranda, if you're kind of corralling us.
Yeah, I'm making everybody go swimming.
Okay.
That's the whole reason I joined this board.
All right.
It just popped into my head about that Monday. Is this July 13th you're talking about?
Yes, this coming Monday.
Because that's an abatement.
Correct. So we were going to have the special meeting at 5 p.m. and end it by 5:30, and the Board of Abatement starts at 5:30.
Okay, because Lisa really likes you to be there early.
Yeah, I think Eric and Lisa had coordinated to
Yeah,
do it
okay.
one right after the other.
Okay,
Yeah. Right, so that's why we'll start right promptly at 5 and move through what we need to do by, hopefully by 5:20.
okay, just,
Yeah.
That's
no,
what I was
thank
thinking. I
you.
knew there was
Yeah,
something
yeah,
there, and I
yeah,
said,
just means
"Ooh."
coming to town hall a little early that night.
yeah,
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 yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so, John will reach out to Scott about a potential select board casual event at the pool and develop a Miranda.
Basically, select board inviting the public to an evening of free swimming and community engagement or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Do we wanna get an estimate on the free part of this before we
Right,
commit to that?
of course, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I confirm that. Is the fee still $3? And also, we should probably, John, I can email with you too, and we can maybe look at a budget line that we can use.
Sure.
okay. Jeanette?
Hi, Jeanette Sharkey Potter, White River. I just wanted to, as we're talking about the pool, so other communities have opened up their public spaces like the Edgar May in Springfield when there are heat waves, and I would encourage this body to be thinking about the possibility of allowing our town pool to be open when there are days when there are excessive heat waves. Oftentimes the river is full of E. coli at those times. And so it would be, I guess, John to look into that. I don't know. There are people who say they can't afford the $3.
Yeah.
And so that is a barrier, although there are plenty of scholarship funds. That's what I kind of hear a lot, but you have to pass in paperwork, and we do have people that do not have the ability or stamina or whatever to do that piece, even when I'm going to their home and helping them fill out the paperwork and bringing it in. So I just wanted to put that out there, that other communities do that, and it would be really wonderful now that we're getting more and more excessively hot days to have that as an offer.
Certainly
Thanks for
something
that
to,
recommendation, yeah.
certainly something to look at. I wouldn't want to commit for the Parks and
Yeah.
Rec folks, but I happy
Yeah.
to mention it to Scott and see what his input is.
Have them consider it. Yeah, I know that Dana and the Harvard Energy Commission has been working on, getting the word out about cooling centers like the Bugby and other places around town, but that's another good thought, good way to stay cool. To be able to access the pool on really hot days. All right, I think we're good on this.
Thank you,
Does
Eric.
anyone else? Yeah, thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Okay, great. All right, we're gonna move to commission reports. I will start with Mike, if you have any commission reports this week.
I have no commission reports.
None
Alright.
for me either.
Eric?
None tonight.
Okay, Miranda?
Nothing.
Tim, none?
I have nothing.
And I have none. All right, that was easy. Obviously, there is a lot of commission activity and work going on, especially in preparation for this affordability initiative and summit. So more to come on that in August. I will take a motion for the consent agenda. Is there, and do we need to make adjustments to it?
Yes, again,
Yeah.
Is that July 9?
the
That's out.
July 9th AP manifest is out, and that'll be dealt with Thursday. And the one additional meetings, special meetings on July 9th and July 13th. And then finally, a question about the minutes. They're all prepared for an Ashley signature. It's up to you, I suppose, Madam Chair, whether you'd like to sign off on minutes or they can await Ashley's return.
I'm happy to sign off
Okay.
on that.
Very good, they're on the table.
Okay, great. Okay, so someone who has those edits willing to make a motion.
I do.
Linda?
I move that the board approve payroll ending 7/4/2026, approve AP manifests of 7/3/2026, approve meeting minutes of 6/23, 6/30, 7/1, and 7/2/2026, and approve future meetings of July 9, July 13, July 21st, July 30th, August 4th, and August 12th.
I'll second that.
Motion from Miranda, second from Eric. Any discussion?
Just point of clarity, so 8-9 is out? We have an 8-9 work session that
Yeah,
went
that's
out.
been next.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, one abstention from Mary. 5 in favor, the motion passes with one absence. Okay, motion passes. All right, we will now have an executive session, and I will ask for the motion, which is also printed out here. Eric, go ahead.
Thank you. In order to allow for a discussion of the town manager recruitment process and potential contractual terms, I move to find that premature general public knowledge would clearly place this body and/or persons involved at a substantial disadvantage pursuant to 1 VSA Section 313A1. And I move to discuss personnel and contractual matters pursuant to 1 VSA Sections 313A1A and 313A3.
I'll second the motion.
Motion, a second from Mary, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? The motion passes, we are moving into executive session.
Can we do a bio break before?
Yeah, we'll definitely have a break, we can have a break until, yeah, officially, we're gonna start at 7:45, but it'd be great if people can be there a couple minutes before 7:45. So yeah, it's 5-minute break, basically. Jerry. Sorry, everyone. For the microphone feedback. All right, we're back. Is there a motion to come out of executive session, Mary?
Yes, I move that the select board come out of executive session and no action was taken.
Thank you.
Second the motion?
Second from Eric. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstain? One absent. The motion passes. We're out of executive session. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Eric,
Second.
second by Miranda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
No, any opposed, abstained? We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
See you on Friday.